Evet. Beyler, Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1'ın 3. bölümüne hoş geldiniz. Bu bölüm bir kameramız var. Sürekli kontrol ediyorum. Bozuldu mu? Arada bozulabiliyor. Fazla ısınınca. Öyle mi? Böyle daha iyi. Maalesef 9 FPS. Yani 60 FPS olsa çok güzel olurdu. Tadından yenmezdi. Ama 30 FPS var yani yapacak bir şeyimiz yok. Evet, dediğim gibi. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1'ın 3. bölümüne hoş geldiniz. Tamam. En son buradaydık. Tamam. Evi dolaşmışız. Sikkeleri bulmuşum. En son ne yapıyordum ben? Ha, hatırladım. Abimizle bir abimizle bir polis konuşuyordu galiba. Onun hatırasını hatırlamaya çalışıyordu. Ha, hatırladım.
Are the best place for reading.
Böyle de ufak yerler almıştı. Nereye gidecek bizi?
The only detail I'm sure of is that it was raining early that morning.
Aa, yok çıldıracağım, bulamıyorum. Alt katta olabilir. Alt katta da burada olur yani. Yok. Şey diyor. Hani üst kattan ses duydum falan diyor ama oradan da bir şey çıktı. Bak.
I heard footsteps upstairs a second ago. Wait, do we have an attic here?
Reis, size sormak lazım. Reis. Burası zaten açıldı. Ne yalan söyleyeyim, bayağı uğraştırdı.
Our mother brought a slew of belongings with her. She refused to leave a single thing in London. Mycroft had to spend the whole day dealing with it.
Tamam.
There was always a hat on our stand, but I'm sure it did not belong to Mycroft.
Babamızındır. Veya annemiz de şapka giyiyordur.
This trip was a challenge for our mother. I tried to help her.
Do you feel it? Is it the air shimmering, or is it my imagination?
Yo, normalde de gözüküyor. Klasik. O zaman sıra bizde. Tamam. Abimiz eşyalarla uğraşsın. Değil. Olabilir.
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
Farklıdır o zaman.
Your neighbors
Lord.
will be told that Mrs. Holmes is suffering from tuberculosis. It is common to move closer to the sea in such cases.
Thank you, Dr. Richter. No, Sherlock, step away from her. Upstairs, go to your room.
Lean on me, Mother. Take your time.
Actually, I never heard her coughing. I remember now.
Açıl. Kamerayı çok kötü ayarlamış. Daha aşağıya. Daha. Ulan. Evet. Yağmurlu bir günün erken saatlerinde geldik. Sherry'nin annesi zayıf ve dengesiz bir durumdaydı. Sherry ona yardım etmeye çalıştı. Mike anasının neyse bavullarla ilgilenirken çok ciddiydi. Sherlock'un annesine yardımcı olmaya çalıştığını gördüğünde Sherlock'a üst kata odamıza çıkmamızı emretti. Gelen son kişi Doktor Otto'ydu. Komşuları Violet'in tüberküloz hastası olduğundan şüphelendiğini söyledi. Sherry annesinin iç öksürürken duymadığını hatırladı. Üst kat.
I feel dizzy. It's stuffy in here, isn't it?
John, are you all right?
I'll be okay in a minute. How about we find our room in the meantime?
Aklıma bir şey geliyor ama neyse. Galiba bu adam... Burası mı açıldı? Karşısı tam. Önceden de oldu mu?
Look at this. It's like traveling 10 years into the past with a single step. Oddly satisfying. Need to repeat this one day, but with bullets.
Sakızla mı yapıyoruz da biz de bu? Dart. O ne? Oyuncak. Bayılırım. Ne?
An artifact from Palau carved out of bone and claimed to be 300 years old. My mother proved it was a fake. My very favorite plaything. It was the perfect pirate treasure. Cannot believe all my toys are still here.
Hey, they were not just yours, they were half mine too.
Yarısı benim de.
The only fiction book on my table. I can still hear my mother reading it to me.
Ben bu kitabı nereden hatırlıyorum ya, bir dakika. Harbici hatırlıyorum ben bu kitabı. Bakmam lazım. Çok ufak bir sürenizi alacağım. Ha, tamam ben bunu okudum galiba. Evet okudum, hatırladım. Çok güzel kitaptır. Tavsiye ederim.
So many pleasant evenings were spent here with the Encyclopedia Americana.
Ve gazeteler.
Interesting. What's that over there?
Evet.
This doorknob has a cross-shaped end. Too intricate to be merely a handle.
You know what? That definitely looks like a key. Let's poke around and see if we can find any secrets.
Dur
A
buluruz.
magnificent tool made for a spurious purpose, staring into the sky. I've definitely found a better use for it.
You mean for
The
spying? on
first
people?
chemical laboratory I ever made. I almost miss its elegant simplicity.
Bu ne? Kapıya baktım.
Coal dust from Miner's End, sandy dirt from the old city. We scoured the island top to bottom for these soil samples.
Bu ne?
One of John's first pictures. I think this was supposed to be Mycroft. He really has improved his skills since then. This brings back memories. We used this old diary to keep track of our adventures. John, do you think we can visit some of the places mentioned in the diary for old time's sake?
Why not? Nothing like a stroll down memory lane. Note down the places you'd like to visit, and I'll add what I remember of them.
Bu ne ya?
Oh, it reminds me of our neighbour. He had the same balloon in his yard, only bigger.
Evet
You
dışarıda gördüm.
remember?
Yes. We visited him several times while living here.
Tamam, zihin sarayımıza bir sürü şey geldi. İlk John'un günlüğüne bakalım. Anılar. Ha tamam bunu geç. Bunu oku. Tamam bunu biliyoruz. Tamam ahşap sap.
Cannot believe all my toys are still here.
Tamam. Hmm. Bunu sonra hallederiz ya. Şu an iş başka, iş başka. Oradanın evlatları. Bak bu ikisini sorguya çekeceğim. Hmm. Oho. Ama buraya da gidelim. Tamam bunlar gidilecek yerler. Mycroft yalan söyledi. Mycroft annemizin ölümü hakkında gerçeği gizledi ve tüberkülozdan olduğunu söylediğinde bana yalan söyledi. Tamam. Aile dostu. Annemin ölümü hakkında kayıt olmasa da Kordana'da bir aile dostumuz vardı. O bir şeyler biliyor olabilir. Tamam. Adetlerine bir şey eklendi. Anne sevgisi. Ve hop, aile dostumuzu aramak. Ya en sevmediğim görev şu ya, şu işaret. Aile dostumuzu hadi arayalım. Yıldırım.
Wasn't that name?
Yıldırım'ı nereden buluruz? Bir. Ne köprü? Ne köprü? Malta. Şeyi söktüm. Allah kahretsin. Dur. Bunu al. Buraya tak oğlum, manyak mısın? Sökülür mü? İstemeden aldım. Köprülere bakayım da. Sezar, tamam. Burada bir yerdeymiş.
But missing a finger.
That does sound vaguely familiar. Wasn't his name, Theodore? Theodore Gilden, perhaps?
It's the perfect time to investigate.
Aslında gönlüm istiyor ki ha,
It was an early morning. For some reason, we snuck out of the house and crossed the bridge into Miner's End.
We were always adventuring, Sherry. Focus on the bow. That's what's important here.
Yes, I remember. It was huge, but wait. How did we find it? I think there was someone else.
abimizdir. Ya da
Oh, of course, Toby, our furry partner in crime, John. How could I have forgotten?
Whoa, it was quite a while ago. Hey, do you remember how we met him?
I remember bell sounds and sweat and the smell of incense. I think it was at the church in Western Miner's End. Let's find the place.
Abi bu hadi gel gidelim. Kilise nerede? Kilise şurada. Aziz bilmem ne kilisesi. Dur bakalım. Merhaba.
Hey.
The morning sun was shining and church bells called the town to mass, but we weren't here for a ceremony. We were running.
Abimizden kaçıyoruz. Ya da polise.
Of course. The dreaded Dudley. He was still incensed after the stolen clothes incident and wanted to teach us a lesson. I can almost see where we ran.
Hop buradayız.
We lost him for a moment and tried to hide. You pointed to the small courtyard and we ran in. We hid behind crates full of fish. They were stamped as fresh, but I remember my stomach did not agree with that statement.
Oh no, that smell. It almost made me want to face Dudley. But before that happened, there was a noise.
Gürültü mü?
The idiot had a brain the size of a peanut, but when it came to finding us across the island, his cunning was almost supernatural.
Unlike us, he knew many kids on Cordona, and all were eager to get into his good favors. But this time, he met someone who wasn't scared of him.
Köpek mi?
We heard a low growl first, then a dismissive cry, a loud bark after that, and a terrified scream a moment later.
And when we looked up, we saw only a big angry dog with ripped breeches in its jaw. I was scared, but you wanted to get closer, Sherry, remember?
Güzelmiş. Dur bakalım.
He looked hungry, and I had a sandwich from home. He sniffed it cautiously and then accepted it and let me pet him. It was the first of many snacks.
Ugh, those dreaded ham and pickle sandwiches. Lucky for Toby, I'm more of a tuna guy.
John, I am starting to recall something else. Close nearby, under the building with a huge water tower on top, we saw it from the church.
Ben de gördüm. De. Hay hay. Bir de oraya.
Oh, hey.
Yaradan kabul etsin ama haberiniz olsun yok. Sürpriz.
Look who's here.
Bunlar su kenarları. Bana mı baktın biraz?
May I ask you something?
I have heard many strange things, but nothing about this.
Kıyafet uygun ya, insan gibi cevap veriyorum. Zengin kıyafete girsen damağına soktum, sen niye buradasın diye cevap alırdık da.
What's up?
Burası. İçeri dalıyor mu?
We heard rumors that this place was haunted, strange lights in the night, people disappearing. One night we decided to
Bayağı
investigate.
teröristiz oğlum, her yeri terörist.
Toby was with us, always happy to join on our escapades. He stopped when we neared the building and refused to go further, but I was resolute. It was pitch black, so we had to light the lamp. The smell of oil and burned hair filled the night. And something moved in the shadows. It was a man. I remember a dirty shirt, horrifying smile, and a pair of manacles in his hand. We turned to run. That's when we saw that we were cut off. This one had a rope in his hands. My heart sunk. Then I heard a growl. Toby jumped the slavers with all the fury his size contained. We got the hint and ran like the clappers. And I never
Hadi
saw
be.
our Toby again.
We departed Cordona soon after that night, Sherry. Perhaps he was hiding or wandering. It was not unlike him to disappear for weeks on end.
Yes, you may be right. I simply... I regret going to that place. Should have listened to Toby's warnings.
And leave a haunted building unexplored? You know very well that is a mystery that would have nagged us forever.
I know, and yet...
No sense dwelling on ifs and maybes. We can choose to remember those times how we want. I'll draw a picture. You just pick the scene.
Fotoğraf.
I want to remember our last adventure. How Toby saved us.
If you insist. The drawing might turn out a little morbid, but I'll do my best.
Güzel. Anne sevgisine de. Şeyi alalım da checkpoint. Hızlı gidişi. İşimiz kolaylaşsın. Şimdi bulmamız gereken ne var? Bir tane kesik parmaklı bir abimiz var. Doktor olduğunu biliyoruz. Onu bulacağız. Tamam, buraya sonra bakarız biraz. Galiba orası. Bak, şurası da olabilir. Güzel. Kaçma. Yunan Köprüsü'ne en yakın yer burası. Orası değilse şurası. Çekilin, ben polisim.
Destruction and trampled ground. Destruction and trampled ground.
Oo. Oo. Oo. Çok dikkatimi
A coal
çekti
gas
burası.
tank. Enough to pump up an airship. A sailor's knife useful for cutting wet and thick ropes. A sailor's knife useful for cutting wet and thick ropes. It's seen a lot of use. The blade is worn from grinding.
Hadi bakayım. Aa, ben mi yanlış gördüm? Bir şey mi eksik burada ya? Evet. Allah. Dur bakalım buluruz.
Hog heaven.
Evet, ceset en son.
An amount of attention that most can only dream of. A royal suite for a favorite pet.
Plenty of food to satisfy even the most fastidious.
Yok. Cesedi incelemez ama.
Oof, a contortionist you were not. A kneecap reduced to splinters. A belt from a dressing gown, curious. Disjointed vertebrae, difficult to say if it was a way to start or finish him off.
El, kol, hiçbir şey kalmamış ki adam. Bizden çıkmaz mı ya? Ayak iyi değil. Onun farkındayız.
A belt from a dressing gown, curious.
Dur buldu onu. Nerede be? Parmağı yok.
A missing
Doktor.
pinky, middle-aged. It's none other than Theodore Gilden.
Oh boy, Sherlock. Another death means another question.
And we shall answer the question. It's far too interesting to give it up to the police.
Ha, şutları şeyi alamıyor ya. Küfür edesin diyor.
Signs of impact. A rough landing led to an altercation with this shed.
Oh be. Vallahi ne yalan söyleyeyim. Alakası yoktu.
heaven.
Var mı? Kullanamıyorum. Bir daha bakayım ya. Eski bir aile dostumuz, tamam.
Didn't we get to fly in it as children? I doubt it could hold my weight today.
Ne bu? Sadakat. Ha boş ver. Bunu boş ver. Ama da ben bayağı gezdim, bir şey söyleyeyim. Burayı ihbar edeceğim adı altında. Sıkıcı mı? Sıkıcıydı. Sarf ediyorum da. Gezmek güzelmiş. Güzel kayıt dışı şuraları gezeceğim. Kaydık yuvalarını. Sizle beraber dolaşıp şeyleri alacağız. Bahçe dekorasyonu, çarp. Ama ben bu adamın buraya giremiyorum. Onu da alacağız. Ben farkındayım. Kamerayı kapattım. Aşırı ısındı. Çok sıkıntı çıkartıyor ya. Deniyoruz bir şeyler ama olacak gibi değil. Benim arkadaş var, aslında ona söylesem çok iyi olur. Kamerası var. 60 FPS 1080p alıyor. Üniversitem çok şey etmez. Mehmet Çelebi. Bir adamdan kameranın linkini isteyeceğim. Yok biliyordur. Bayağı drone uçuş falan yapıyor. Hem kamerayı anlatır.
This is
Keyfine
quite
sıçayım.
comfy.
Hem de şey öğreniriz. Oo. Ya biz bunu gözden kaçırıyormuşuz. Neyse konuşayım ben. Yarım kalmasın. İnek bu. Evet. Yetişkin fil ayağı. Evet.
Poke the elephant with this? Really? People are hopeless.
A strong pull broke this leash. A pool of blood and saliva, possibly as a result of impact.
Sherlock, take a picture of the footprint. It's valuable evidence. This photograph can help us find the old article about the elephants. The front page was fascinating. It was hard to believe as a child.
True. We may need it in our investigation.
Evet, devam edelim. Olaylar. Olur bak, olur. Öyle düşüşüyor bir de. Yani düşüş şekli öyle. Olur. Aldı. Al.
In a fit of rage, the elephant broke the chain and threw its victim on the ground with a fierce power. Escaping the scene, it pulled the body with it, but dropped it at the gate. At least some of this was witnessed by a third party who was hurled against the shed. The elephant can't have gone too far. I can still track it.
Well, suppose you find it. Then what? push it all the way back to the manor?
Evet, yemek yedim, şey ettim, geri geldim. Hızlıca videoyu bitirmek istiyorum. Çünkü saat 15'e videoyu atacağız. Ha dur. Vaka defteri, altın kafes. Ona bakabilir miyim? Nasıl oyun? El işaretini... Ha tamam. Kolay. Bir de polis üniforması alabilir miyim? Sorduğumda cevap versin.
Could you help me?
Of course, officer. Let me tell you.
Gerek kalmadı.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I'd rather not talk to a person like you. Nothing personal.
Ne demek? Devletin memuruna ne diyorsun
Can I
ya?
ask you a question?
The only thing you policemen do is oppress my people. I won't help. Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
Zengin olarak
Is this
gelse.
familiar to you?
Why should I care about your troubles when you
Arkadaş
don't
bu
care
da
about
herkese
mine?
şey. Gelene gidene sövüyor arkadaş, anlamadım.
The elephant barged into this cart of olive oil.
What if we're lucky and he slipped and fell somewhere along the way?
Buradaymış.
Okay, hear me out. If an elephant falls in the forest and there's no one around to...
John, no.
Oh, you're such a killjoy.
Geride bir yere atladım. Su içmiş.
Strange. It was hung with care.
Sevgili Haber, sana hemşerin olarak yazıyorum. Halkımızın hayatlarına verdiğin değer kadar dostluğumuza da değer veriyorum. Gerçi bu tek taraflı arkadaşlık, korkarım ki artık ellerimi bağlayamaz. Komşularının gözünden zayıf gösteriliyorum. Acil bir alaka olduğunu iyi barış göstermesi olduğunu inanıyorum. İnsanlar korkuyor. Benim düzgün bir eğitim vermeye reddettim. Bunun yerine kısıtlı bilgini kullanarak onu yapmaya çalıştım. İmkansız. Anlık İyi.
The game has escaped us for now. We'll find a solution to the elephant problem later.
Want to go for a swim?
Yok. Kalsın. Giderdik ya. Ha, o zaman bunu nereden araştırırız? Kudüs yerinden filaya araştırılmaz. Belediye binası var. Olabilir. Kütüphane gibi bir yer var bizde ya. Nereye gidiyor?
Hog heaven.
Malikane gibi malikane ya.
This young lady has a childish interest for her age.
You. Who are you?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. Theodore Gilden was...
Did you kill him? Did you kill the elephant?
It's not in the yard anymore. It escaped into the forest.
You can't let it go. What if it returns?
I highly doubt that, Miss...
Imogen Gilden. Please, I beg of you, find that dreadful beast that killed my father.
I suppose we do need to learn what happened.
Her şeyi anlatın diyeceğim de bir dakika. Şuraya şeker atmayayım. Şu şeker alıp geleyim.
Can you tell me what happened? From the very start.
I was here, so I didn't see how it began. My father visits the enclosure every morning to wake up Goliath. Today, I heard the elephant scream. I've never heard such a horrifying sound. My heart stopped. I knew something was wrong. I looked through my window and saw how it lifted my father up by his neck. I rushed downstairs. I saw it dragging my father as if he were a doll. I threw stones at it. It dropped my father's body and charged outside, screaming. Its roar was almost human. I was frightened, so I ran inside and hid here.
Başın
It's
sağ
a
olsun.
terrifying experience, Miss Gilden. I'm sorry you had to go through it.
Thank you. Goliath must be caught, Mr. Holmes.
Well, thank you for the information, Miss Gilden. I did have some questions for your father. Perhaps you might help me with them?
I wasn't privy to much of my father's life, and it's very hard to think of anything at all with Goliath still loose. Please, Mr. Holmes.
Very well. Do you mind if I ask you more questions if I find anything that might help?
Anything to catch that monster.
Miss Gilden, I was on this island 10 years ago, and your father knew my mother. I believe I even had the opportunity to ride that balloon outside. but I do not recall seeing you.
I lived at my late mother's in Sheffield at the time. I'm in no spirit to reminisce right now. The elephant is out there.
You've never heard the name Violet Holmes before? Perhaps your father...
Please, Mr. Holmes. With that beast roaming free, I can't think of anything.
Very well.
Yes.
Did you observe anyone else in the yard? Any of your servants, perhaps?
Servants? Do you imagine that we would have any with Goliath? No one wishes to work in this house, even for double pay. I didn't see anyone else. Only my father and that diabolical beast. I'm afraid I can't add anything useful. I'm afraid I can't add anything useful.
Had Goliath been aggressive before?
It's dangerous, but it was never aggressive near my father. My father would do anything for Goliath. All the elephant had to do was clap its ears.
You envied him, the elephant, I mean?
Our house is called the House of Ivory. I've heard some people refer to me as the Ivory Girl, and my room stinks of the animal, as if it's me who lives in a pen and not Goliath. It's not envy, Mr. Holmes. It's just incredibly difficult to live like this.
Geldiniz soğan.
Who's a cute bird?
Ben bunu okurum.
False idols? Oh, sounds utterly dreary. She packed as much as she could carry.
Oo.
The same dull poses on all romantic photographs. So
En
idyllic.
sevdiğim ya.
Enjoy your happily ever after before it stales.
Hey, Sherry, we need to talk.
Ne oluyor?
You found false idols. We need to find the remaining two.
What does bazooka even mean? Would this paper be good for anything but blowing one's nose on?
They're not rubbish, Sherry. There's something more. I'm serious.
Very well. I doubt it'll be worth it, but I will find them for you, John.
You'll thank me later. They're some of the most imaginative books I've ever read.
What did you say?
Speaking aloud helps me think.
Ben evi de gezeyim ya.
These bags of yours, it looks as if you've packed your entire room. Were you planning on going somewhere?
Bura falan mı
Partner and I-
çıkacağız?
We wanted a change, a fresh start abroad. But now I have to stay here. Here, an orphan.
I found this. Who's this young lad next to you, your faithful knight?
Paul. He's my pirate. He's not really a pirate. I just call him that. It probably sounds very silly.
Your secret is safe in my hands. Does Paul work somewhere? What is his surname?
His name is Paul Perks. He and his yacht Whirlpool are the champions of the Salacia Yacht Club. He sails there. I'll show you where it is on the map if you need to meet him.
A yachting champion? Well, that will be a first. I prefer dry land. And so does my suit. How can you read something like this? It's hard to swallow, and that's not due to the hard cover.
You're hardly serious. Any library without Nabe and Laura is incomplete. If you can read, then these books are an absolute must. Love and adventure. They're about life.
Oh, I wasn't aware that exploding pyramids were a part of daily life on Cordona.
You haven't seen life, so you might try reading about it at least. I can't think of anything else right now.
Çok çok sokarım seni. Hindistan'dan çalmış yavşak.
the nicest spot in the room. Mr. Gilden spent hours of his life right here.
Staring at an elephant's backside.
Bu da Hindistan'dan çaldı. Adım gibi eminim. Bu Afrika'dan. Oğlum, okumuş baş burası. Adam bir ırkçılığı yapmış ama buna her yerde şey var. Şirketten Hint fili satın aldı. Yok.
His second child, an apparent son and heir, I'd say. What's so special about this place? Another elephant? A partnership annulled with a single stroke of a pen. A catchy title. I should take a photograph of the plans. I don't want to carry them around. From before Mycroft was born, our family loves to prod at the past. From before Mycroft was born, our family loves to prod at the past.
Evet.
Looks eccentric and smells eccentric.
Horoz doğuracağım.
I can always recognize the spirit of a true artist.
Tamam bakalım. Bilinmeyen üçüncü kişi. Gaz atlamak falan ve bıçak kullanan üçüncü bir kişi var. Bir dakika. Ne dedi? Ben ona korsan diyorum. Aslında bilmem ne yerinde gemi kaptanı gibi bir şey dedi kız. Denizci bıçağı bulduk. Ben bunu soracağım. Bunu bulacağım. Bunu da bulacağım. Tamam bunu da bulacağım. Şunu bir sorayım.
A. Swift, is this name familiar to you? Your father had it removed from this plan.
Oh, that's Arthur Swift. I've seen him a couple of times here. He works with my father in the old city, digging up something ancient.
He is an archaeologist?
That's the word, yes. But to be truthful, I really don't think Mr. Swift is fit to be one. I've just learnt a lot about archaeology from my favourite book series. Oh, they are page-turners.
Inspirational, I'm sure, but would you happen to know where this Mr. Swift might be found?
I don't, but perhaps you can find out somewhere. My father's work with him is all official. Lots of boring legal papers with signatures and stuff.
Tamamdır, buldum. Tescil bildirimi. Gordon hükümetin yetkilisiyle yolunda kurulan. Tamam. Birazcık kolay.
With your love for archives, you would have made the perfect bureaucrat.
Şimdi de bunu bulmamız lazım. Ne demiş? Paul Parker. Dur, tam olarak nerede diyor? Paul Parker. Güney Büyük Sarayı'ndaki bulunan ne bu? Gideceğimiz yer belli burası. Param bitti deme soyarım. Yürütme bizi öyle. O kadar şeyiz ya, polisiz, bedavaya götürsünler, Allah Allah. Yani ben para almıyorum.
May I ask for your assistance?
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
Do you know anything about this?
That's a question I can answer.
Aşağıda. Bak bu patlar. Bu toz yapar. Bak bir dayak alacağız gibi ama. Oğlum sen manyak mısın?
The Champion's Whirlpool pools bread and butter.
We can become pirates and show them what should.
A foghorn to navigate and warn others at sea.
It should have a warning to cover your ears.
Bloodied bandages. Has someone been hurt?
Where would a champion hide a key?
I hope Paul is more skilled at yachting than he is at hiding keys.
Dur bakalım. İlk oraya bakmayacağım.
To earn big, you have to spend big. Old betting slips. Paul always bets on Whirlpool. One victory after another.
Oho.
Mr. Gilden wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty.
Bir gözden kaçırdım ama. Bu.
An interesting place for a message to a champion.
Bakalım bakalım.
An interesting place for a message to a champion.
He.
Additional earnings to sweeten the victory. Bloodied bandages.
Kim unuttum? Neyi? Tamam, burası 10 üzerinden 10.
Bloodied bandages.
Ne lan?
A box full of darts. Each has a needle and can be loaded with drugs. An expensive set of tools for woodwork. An amateur wouldn't know how to use these.
Ne?
Shipbuilding, shipwright's tricks, sail weaving.
Too ordinary a room for a champion. There's no incentive to put in any effort.
Dur bakalım. Zihin sarayı ne var? Abi bağdaşmıyor ki. Ölümcül dayak bununla bağdaşmıyor. Dur bakalım. Bilemedim. Bulamadım.
Bloodied bandages. A foghorn to navigate and warn others at sea.
Anladım. Bakabilir miyim o bahis sultanına? Burada mı olur?
Are you aware that Paul smuggles drugs for a dangerous gang?
Mr. Holmes, I've already told you. I call him a pirate in play. He's not an actual pirate. He's a champion and a brave gentleman, not a thug.
Let us agree to disagree on that. But don't be surprised if one of his clients knocks on your door. Have you seen what your father sent to Paul?
This is despicable. My father was never a gentleman, but this crosses the line. I knew that father wasn't fond of Paul, but this is just awful. If only he could have seen how good Paulie is to me.
Düştüm da ben.
I can't think of any... anything else right now.
Böyle dışarı çıkayım, güzel bir manzarada bitiriş yapayım. Hatta dur, evimizde bitiriş yapalım. Tamamsız bizlerimiz. Buraya da köpeğimiz çizmişti ya. Neyse. Bir de buraya mı
This time I
yapalım?
was first to pick beds. This one's mine now.
Tartışacak değil. Bayanlar baylar. Bu güzel videoyu buraya kadar izlediyseniz canı gönülden tebrik ederim ve teşekkür ederim. Sherlock Holmes'un 3. bölümü galiba. 4. bölümünde görüşmek üzere. Kendinize iyi bakın. Çözerim diye bekledim fil olayını. Çözemedim. Aslında arda video çekerdim ama çekemeyeceğim. Çünkü saat ilerliyor. Normalde bunu saat 12'de atmam lazım bugün. Unuttum. Saat 14-15'e de gidecek. Kendinize iyi bakın. Görüşmek üzere. Bay bay.